DAdvisoor here with the Frankencoin Association stream. And as always, with Johannes, the Managing Director of the Frankencoin Association. How are you, sir?
Very good, very good. Spring is coming, at least here in Switzerland.
Amen.
It's really nice.
That's good indeed. And our guest for today, actually, sorry, I have something open here. Sorry, guys.
Let me take over then. Welcome to the show today. We have a very professional
Apologize.
host.
I had a window open. Really apologize, guys. I had a window open with the YouTube stream, so started hearing myself. What I was about to do before that very inappropriate thing was to represent a guest I've been wanting to have on for a while, Arnaud from Mt Pelerin. I have no way to say it. I say Mt Pelerin, but Johannes can say it in the correct way. And an honor to have you on, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. No, you can say it both ways. I mean, there's the French way, which would be Mont Pelerin, and then there is the international way, which would be Mt Pelerin.
Mt Pelerin.
Mt Pelerin.
Right?
There's also the Israeli way, we will see Mt Pelerin. Either way, excited to have you on. Been wanting to do it for quite a while, and thank you for everyone for tuning in. Please share the video wherever you are. Give us some comment, add some questions as we go on. And for starters, Arnaud, I'd want you to give, especially for those who aren't familiar, give a kind of an introduction as to what Mt Pelerin is, what do people use it for? Give us like the regular pitch, an intro to what you guys do.
So in a nutshell, Mt Pelerin is basically an on and off ramp solution. And we try to bridge elegantly, I would say, the fiat world and the crypto world. By looking at it from the perspective that, IBANs and addresses are basically the same thing that doesn't communicate well. But ultimately, it's just routing system that we want to basically connect in an elegant way. So we started with this solution of on and off ramp, which of course works in Swiss franc, euro, and plenty of other currencies. And on top of it, now we're adding IBANs for Swiss franc and euro. And the beauty of that is that those IBANs, you can attach it to any wallet. Of course, we're fully focusing on self-custodial solutions. So we serve only self-custodial wallets, and you can attach it to any wallet you want, whether it's your Ledger, Trezor, whether it's your mobile wallet, etc. And then you can also attach it to any asset. That means that this IBAN can really become a kind of self-custodial Revolut. This IBAN is under your name. You can attach it to the ZCHF for Swiss franc, and that means that every time you get paid, then you receive ZCHF on your wallet that you fully control and own. And whenever you want to pay someone, that means that you can redeem the ZCHF with us, and the wire goes out under your name. That means that within the banking system, it just appears to be an IBAN that, like any neobank IBAN, there is no relationship with a crypto source of fund being, obvious on the banking network. So that's, helping, connecting all those routing system payment rails that today do not necessarily communicate well. And of course, we serve several types of customers. So of course, retail and businesses. We like to serve businesses because more and more crypto businesses, mostly, but not only, or unbanked. That means that they basically have their liquidity, operational liquidity, etc., on chain in the form of stable coins most of the time, but sometimes also in Bitcoin. And whenever they want to pay their salaries, whenever they want to pay, the rent, the servers, the tax bills, and social security stuff for the employees, then they go through Mt Pelerin, they upload all those bills, and they can just basically pay it up with ZCHF for Swiss companies, or EuroC for Euro, or even Bitcoin if they want to use Bitcoin. So that's really like in a nutshell, we want to create a new form of payment economy based on stable coins and crypto.
And they're doing a really great job, right? I mean, I have this idea where I believe the kind of the traditional rails and the crypto rails, they should merge. I'm not sure why I'm called Arnaud Salomon here, actually. Yeah, that's better. And it should just be frictionless, because I believe the user should not be having to worry which system he's in, and that is where Mt Pelerin is just amazing. You have an IBAN, I don't have to go tell my mom, hey, if you want to send me money to my wallet, you have to, type in a very special code, and then you have to download this app and you register with that company. I just give her an IBAN and it just works. So exactly. That's the beauty of Mt Pelerin. It's just abstracting away this complexity and making it seamless. For us from the association, we don't have a bank account. The Frankencoin Association does not have a bank account, but we do have Mt Pelerin, right?
Nice. So the association actually uses like the crypto IBAN?
Yes. And we give them very direct feedback on the UX as well. So
it's actually, again, I think a recurring theme in our talk this evening will be the very strong and unique relationship these two projects actually have, because of being like Swiss based, and because I think they really complement each other in many ways. And I actually think that such a thing as you've just described now, like the constant feedback about the services, is probably also a key component of that.
Yeah, exactly. And to give a bit of context of history here, historically we've always been focusing on stablecoins, and we always wanted to, look at how we could, merge those two together. And in this regard, we were in touch very early in those days with Lucius. And at the time, Lucius had an initiative with Bitcoin Swiss, which was centralized, of course. It was called the XCHF. And that already, caught our attention, because we were like, okay, so this is something we truly need in Switzerland. But of course, as every centralized project, it comes with issues and things that you actually want to basically overcome and get rid of, and that's why he moved from this centralized initial initiative to this new decentralized one called ZCHF. And we believe that, and that's also why we wanted to support this initiative, because we truly believe that that's the way forward, and that's exactly how we should operate in the future. And not only to try to get rid of some regulation, that's not the point. It's really like to have something that is truly auditable at all point in time, something that belongs to everyone. Of course, it comes with IT risk, as every smart contract comes, but at the same time, things can be over time, you get confidence that things simply works because people start using it more and more, and people get more confidence in that regard.
You
wanted to add there something?
No,
there, Johannes?
Not for now. I mean, like it's beautiful to see how there's this alignment, right? And I think you, Arnaud, and Lucius, right? You've known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
I think you think alike. You think alike. Just the name of your company already tells a lot.
Yeah,
nice. Let's get into that now as well, because I actually, Johannes, I've actually also asked you about that a few weeks ago when I saw something online, and it actually also resonated with me. So Arnaud, actually, will be great for you to tell us why did you guys call Mt Pelerin Mt Pelerin? What's the story behind it?
Before we start here, let me ask you something, Arnaud. Are you aware? And this is like I think there's a video about it somewhere. Even, are you aware that the two names of our both projects are somewhat alike?
No.
Okay. So, the writer of the book Frankenstein, Mary Ann Shelley, she was politically very active.
Okay. So she was part of the Mt Pelerin Society?
I'm not sure she was part of the society, but she was very aligned from a at least a philosophical and political ideas.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. Nice.
But yeah, I mean, please.
No, yeah, I mean, our company is called Mt Pelerin. So that comes from basically a small mount in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, which is quite well known from libertarians because it's close to Vevey under the Lemon Lake, over the Lemon Lake, and it's a beautiful place. And it's well known because it was created there something called the Mt Pelerin Society, which is a kind of the first think tank of its kind. And the idea of this think tank was really to promote liberty as a precondition for prosperity. And that was created right after the Second World War, right? So the idea was really to say that, as soon as you have prosperity, you won't have any more wars. And really the idea was also to promote, the Swiss decentralization ideas, that power needs to be closer to you, and that the more far the power is, the less it should be, and should have only, the less, the lower regalian stuff. And it was really promoting that, and it was promoting liberty in every aspect of people's life, right? Not only economical freedom. It was also, political freedom, freedom of speech, of course, and there was really like the basis of the foundation of every society that we're promoting. So of course that resonates with us, and all the promotion of the decentralization stuff as well. So yeah, that's why we thought that was the name that fits perfectly. And of course for me also it resonates personally because I go there once a year as a kind of pilgrimage. And it's nice to go there walking, instead of taking, the funiculars. And that's also, why most of those think tanks are created on the mount or, somewhere that, requires the members to basically, remove all the negative charge that they get from the society, and when you climb, for 1 hour walking and then reaching a beautiful house to discuss and exchange and, having some philosophical discussion, then you come up there with a lot more, free energy and you can remove all the negative stuff that you accumulate over the day in the busy cities and in the busy life. And that's why, all those thinkers like to have reunion over small mounts like that. And I find it quite poetical.
That's actually very cool. So you say you not only have like a philosophical or intellectual or cultural connection to that name, you say that you actually live pretty close there physically as well, if I understand correctly.
I'm actually from Lausanne originally, so that's really like 45 minutes away from Lausanne, so that's really close by.
That's actually very cool, and I think that again it's just another demonstration of the fact that that's a lot of what attracted me on my first talk with Johannes. Still my longest interview ever of like over 2.5 hours of a live stream. Respect to you for staying, by the way, Johannes, on that one. It's not that simple.
Once you get me talking, it's hard for me to stop.
I confirm that.
Yeah, I can resonate with that as well. Like I'm kind of the same. But like the ethos of Switzerland and the ethos of crypto and the ethos of liberty really go together. Like it's there's just something about this sovereign and decentralized perception of reality, which is just really resonate with everything I think that the industry is trying to do. So shout out to you guys for doing it. Before we really get into the products themselves that I want to ask you about, Arnaud, I kind of want to you know what? Let's actually begin from that. The crypto IBAN.
One second. We have a cool question. So by the way, I want to use that. So Damien, thanks for that question. Actually, just keep questions coming. By the way, like encourage every one of you to ask questions away. So the question is, for Frankencoin team, are there some people in the core team from French side of Switzerland? Unfortunately not. We do not, in the association themselves, we don't have anyone from the Swiss Romandie. However, we have a very, very strong community in the Swiss Romand. And this is a decentralized project, right? I mean, the association, there is literally 3 people working there. This is DAdvisoor, who's in Israel at the moment, myself, who's in central Switzerland, and Sam, who's in northern Switzerland. So that is all there is. Now, but the community is super important to us. And, shout out to, I'm not going to name any names now, but shout out, you know who we are. Shout out to all those super active people in the Frankencoin community that are from Le Suisse Romand. So you can very, very nice. You can ask in French, for example, if you have any questions. Not for now, but if you are thinking about it, become part of the community and kind of become part of our ragtag group of people who are building the digital Swiss franc. Now back to programming with you, DAdvisoor.
No, I appreciate that comment, and I actually do look forward, because actually for now at least, it's already unique because everywhere else you just see English comments. On the Frankencoin group or groups even, you sometimes also see a lot of German, okay? But I don't really see a lot of French yet. But look, we have Mt Pelerin, and already we have this comment, for example, if you guys want to tell me what it means.
On parle français fédéral ici pour les...
Just another demonstration of how decentralized Switzerland is and how crypto should learn from it. Okay. You know what? Actually, we'll ask you this, Arnaud. Who is the target audience of Mt Pelerin? Okay, is it just for Swiss people, or is it for people all over the world? How would you describe the target audience of you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, today, of course, our main audience is Swiss. But we do serve customers from the entire world. So we have customers, everywhere, I would say, except unfortunately today from the US, where we have decided not to operate at all, and sanctioned countries, obviously. So that in that regard, we operate globally. Now, in terms of local payment rails, which is what matters for retail, not necessarily for larger payments, but for retail. Today, we are mostly focused on Euro and Swiss franc because this is our geographical area. And we serve the rest of the clients through SWIFT. Now we are expanding that. Now we're expanding to something like 15 new local payment currencies like GBP and some Eastern European currencies, as well as some Latin American currencies, and in Asia, as well as AED, etc., etc. Yeah. So we are adding this thing this year. Also planning to add more IBAN capabilities. That's also the idea. And we serve several type of people. I mean, today we serve like the very small volume retail, from the very small volume retail to, and that's something we're also very well known for, like the large OTC transaction, and especially for, I would say, crypto rich who wants to cash out in Swiss private banks. We're very well known for that. I mean, we help, documenting all the origin of the fund, opening the account with Swiss private banks, and helping, the crypto rich to cash out or to do Lombard loans with Swiss banks. And we are specialized in, documenting the origin of the fund, because this is what bankers in Switzerland require, is to understand, that the money is clean and whether it's crypto money or whatever, but they don't really understand still this world of crypto. So that's why we work with them on that part. And so that works also extremely well. The idea here is also to avoid drama, because all that started for me, a long time ago, because I used to be an evangelist of Bitcoin, and some people also, at some point in their life, they want to cash out. And the problem is that sometimes they cash out in a bad way. They just go to an exchange, and they click on, yeah, my wife wants to buy a house, so I click on withdraw 2 million to my bank account. And the problem is that your bank account never had more than 50K on it. So that, will ring all the bells, and it will, just, make things extremely painful. And that's where we step in. We say, no. To avoid the drama, we need to first document the transaction. We need to open a bank account with a bank that understand this nature of funds. And then you can do the cash out in 1 day with no drama, yeah? Because we have given the green light, the bank has given the green light, and everything goes through. So yeah, that's the type of service that we offer. And we're also quite known for another topic which is less known, which is the tokenization. As we were the first company in Switzerland to incorporate our shares into token. And to sell it directly to the public without intermediary. Yeah? So we were, that's how we financed the company in the beginning. So we don't have any token like any other Web3 project. Our token is actually share. That means that people, when they buy our tokens, they buy shares from our company. And on top of the security aspect of the token, we have added some utility on top of it. That means that for shareholders, we offer free volumes, we offer some advantages, we offer some more like, reward sharings and things like that. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's the public that we address. And of course, companies, this is really for us the big topic. We believe that companies today should, try to avoid bank as much as possible and use crypto as much as possible.
I didn't know that you guys also do tokenization. Like, do you only offer tokenization for your own product, or do you also like offer tokenization services to others? How does that work?
No, I mean, like on our side, we used to do tokenization service. Right now, it's not something we push too much. I mean, of course, if we have like like partners and things, of course we help because we have huge expertise on that. But other than that, we prefer to work with Actionaria and some others if we have like some clients on this side, because right now, it's really like an industry that needs to consolidate it. But, at some point, if you look at a few years ago in the tokenization industry, there were as many tokenization projects as there were, company to tokenize. So yeah, it was like, it was becoming ridiculous at some point. So I mean, you can recognize when you do stuff, etc. But at some point, you need to have a business around it. And for us, it's no longer the focus on the business. But of course, it's something we support as an initiative in general, and it's something we're proud of what we've built. We're proud of the bridge protocol that we've built as well. The idea is really like how to incorporate any type of securities into tokens, yet to remain compliant over the life cycle of such tokens. That's the type of things that we believe are still the future. At that time, we were pretty much early, I would say, and still today, I would say this is not something that that is easy to sell as a mass market.
Let's stick with that topic for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I started my career in Web3 partially with tokenization back in 2018 with Swisscom blockchain, and one of the issues I've seen back then is liquidity and use case. Why would you tokenize something? Like, what's the advantage of tokenizing? And I believe with Frankencoin, especially as the project is now growing and we see a really big demand, and I've been hammering this for the last 2-3 months, telling wherever I can, as we see a lot of kind of growth on the demand side. Everyone wants to hold Swiss francs. Everyone wants to hold a Frankencoin. I mean, I don't know, you know that better than anyone because you're one of those projects distributing those Frankencoin to clients. Is that I want to have more tokenized assets. I want to have a basket of tokenized assets, low risk tokenized assets backing the Frankencoin. And it's time to actually pick this back out of the drawer, because now you have a use case, right? Now you can go somewhere and say, hey, look, if you tokenize your bonds, large SME or larger company, or like a real estate project, whatever, if you tokenize your bonds, you can now borrow against that and you can leverage it, and you actually can get liquidity out of your private bond placement. So I think that's a use case which is somewhat has not been around before, because there was no venues, there was no Swiss franc stablecoin, right? So you always had to go into dollars. You had protocols which were not built for that. I mean, neither Aave nor Morpho are built for RWAs really. So I don't know. I'm just basically, I'm saying this now, like, hey, if you
Yeah,
cool
but
stuff, you want to
I'm looking forward for the date I could actually mint ZCHF by putting some MPS as a
Well, look,
as a
let me
collateral.
now teach you how that works. Okay, first step, you join our community. You ask me, actually, let me do that for you. Community, everyone is listening. What do you think? Would you like to have a smaller amount of FPS? And of course, we don't know the terms and the valuation, everything, as a collateral. Would that be interesting? Would that add some value to the Frankencoin basket? Would that make a CCHF more stable? That's basically a question, right? That's first question. If you have, okay, then second step, Arnaud, is you go to a forum and you make a proposal. Actually, just today, maybe you want to open the tweet quickly, DAdvisoor, in the meanwhile. Just today, Liquidity did the same. So Liquidity went, and there was a member of the community who proposed, like, what dollar should we use as someone, people want to go short Swiss francs with dollars. And then everyone was discussing about USDC, USDT. But then actually someone said, hey, actually Liquidity with Bold is the perfect way because it's fully decentralized. And proposed that formally in the forum. And that caused a whole discussion. And now Liquidity basically jumped into that. Not sure if you found it already, DAdvisoor. If I should need... There you go, right? So that was an hour ago or something, where Liquidity is now advertising to add Bold as a collateral to Frankencoin. You can do the same, Arnaud. You can do the same.
Yeah. I mean, Bold is a lot more liquid than the MPS is, so.
Well, this is in the end, it's a question of parameters, right? Like, what is your LTV? What is the interest you pay, and so on? It's just, it needs to be a package which makes sense for the community, and then maybe you can convince them. Mm-hmm. But I think the world is your oyster, so you can't really lose anything with it.
Also, what's actually very unique, we've touched on it on the previous stream when it was just you and I, Johannes, that within the Frankencoin ecosystem, the governance process being like veto-based is actually very open. Like, you submit an offer, maybe it doesn't work, but then you can improve some stuff and just republish it, and maybe then it will work.
So it's very Swiss in a sense, Arnaud. It's very consensus based. It's like it's the system is built to foster an open discussion, open conversation, and you will hear very quickly if there's people who are very strongly against it. You will face some headwind, but that is all right? And then you can have that open discussion, and no one gets hurt, and so yeah, I just kind of from the Frankencoin Association to Mt Pelerin, I would very much appreciate you joining this conversation. Best case.
At some point we will. I think we need to strengthen a little bit the liquidity of the MPS first. But yeah, that's an idea to explore at some point. Yes.
Very nice.
Will be very nice indeed. By the way, shout out Token Bryce and Pharos Watch. I see that already some of the stats that people have been using about Bold on that proposal over there come from Pharos.watch. So check him out. By the way, you would notice that Frankencoin has quite a high score on that new stablecoin dashboard. Definitely the highest one for a non-USD stablecoin, and far beyond most others as well. But and also I will mention that speaking of tokenization, it's a good opportunity to give a shout out to Actionariat. How do you say that?
That's perfect. That was actually a really good. You pronounced that better than Arnaud did. And he's Swiss.
Just a coincidence.
I think technically speaking, Actionariat has four names.
Ah, yeah. Because of the 4 languages.
Yes.
Now it has like a 5th one because of the Israeli. But yeah, actually, I actually also really appreciate it because it's all like one big ecosystem and circle. Because when you tokenize something, you actually need stable coins to be able to trade it. The whole thing is a relationship. I remember when I was fortunate to meet Lucius back in December in Switzerland. That's actually one of the things that he actually explained to me, how Frankencoin is actually like a vehicle to enable the trade of on-chain assets for like stuff like stocks who are being tokenized. So it's always very nice like to see how everything really connects, which really leads me to talk about some other connections between Frankencoin and Mt Pelerin. Let's talk about the crypto IBAN. And what is a crypto IBAN now open? I know that it was also when I was actually in Switzerland in December that you guys have launched it. I was just with Michael from Liquidity in Zurich walking, and I saw this post, which was very exciting. Immediately on my phone, I started like posting about it and sending like stuff to Johannes. It actually, if I remember correctly, one of the things that really caught my attention there was the fact that it allows like swiftly moving from CHF to ZCHF, the Frankencoin, like in a one-to-one ratio, which is basically remarkable, and kind of making the whole experience of going from regular finance to decentralized finance in a very seamless manner. So
plus it clears in if you do it in the morning, like before 2 p.m. It clears like super fast, like usually in less than an hour. You make the transfer, the banking transfer, in less than an hour you get credited on your wallet. So it's extremely fast.
That's really
That's
cool.
actually very cool.
Even faster on the other side, I would say.
Yeah. So you've really built plumbing there, which is so amazing. Now I know you're working on kind of integrating, like making it accessible to like APIs and so on. So I have this dream of having a unified Frankencoin e-banking.
Yeah.
Where you are basically have the same functionality that you have in e-banking, and you don't need to worry anymore if you are sending money to someone on chain or if you're sending money to someone off chain or paying a bill. That it just works, and it just works.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we need to have like a bit more distribution rails and today also it's something that I believe also is attracting a lot of Swiss people into the ZCHF is the saving module. So I guess Johannes can say a little bit more on it because I'm not an expert. I believe that for CHF holders in general, finding small yields here and there is always tricky. So I guess that's also kind of
definitely, most definitely it is. There's
but you should always have this little disclaimer. Everything comes with risk, this and that.
Of course. It's there's no guaranteed interest rate or there's no guaranteed nothing with that. Basically, what it is, the savings module on a basic level is that Frankencoin is a lending protocol, meaning to create Frankencoin, you take out a loan. You use MPS, for example, and Arnaud would go and use his MPS and say, hey, I want to buy a seventh house. I'm not sure how many houses you have, or I want to maybe have a new kid. I want to pay a pram, or I'm not paying myself a salary, so I have to any of those things. And needs money, and so he goes and he borrows against his MPS. So he takes out a loan, and for that loan he pays an interest. And because there is no overhead, there is no one working at Frankencoin apart from me. But I'm not working at Frankencoin Association, which is external. So the money I receive is not from the protocol, but there's no one working at the protocol. There's no costs. And basically what that allows is that you can, take a big chunk of this income, of this interest which is paid, and just basically paid out on the other side to whoever is holding it. And that's where the yield really comes from. It's super simple. there is no shady, no weird financial engineering. It's just someone is willing to take a loan, paying an interest on that. On the other side, someone like is holding the Frankencoin and therefore providing liquidity to that person who's taking out the loan and receives some yield. Pretty straightforward. And I think you're also working on something with this. No, Arnaud, is that still a?
Yeah, we are integrating the front end, I would say, only. So the idea is really to make it easy for people using our wallets to I don't know how you call it, stake or
Safe.
put it into the saving module, and try to integrate it in a very seamless way, so that from your wallet you can in one click and one approval deposit into the saving module. So yeah, that's the integration we did. There are still some kind of I would say FINMA discussion issue here and there. Should we release it or not, and how, and what would be the implication for us versus you versus this and that. But I believe that so far, because it's only a front end integration, there is nothing here that Mont Pelerin process, nothing here. It's only like pure, fully decentralized. At no point in time we own any form of asset. At no point in time or counterparty in this. It's fully like self-custodial and decentralized. So I mean, we're not even involved other than providing front ends to use tools. So I believe that's going to be fine, but we're still waiting for there was Lucius who made this letter. There's some back and forth with legals, and it's always like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you read FinNews in Switzerland. Basically, everyone in here who speaks German, I really encourage you. And then this is another one, Dieter, maybe you can show that. I'm going to open it quickly and send it to you. Lucius did a big interview yesterday with FinNews, with a big financial newspaper in Switzerland, and it's quite interesting.
Did you send something, Johannes?
I am sending it to you now on Telegram.
And by the way, you can also, because you have admin rights, you can also probably pop it up from your own screen.
Yeah, you can do it.
No, of course. But
it's good. It's good you do that.
Just so you know.
I do it when you have to run to the shelter.
God forbid. But yeah, funny enough. I'll take that. Just pop it up on the right browser.
There's a lot going on. Actually, while you open it, maybe let me take one of the points here. So Rio Grande, that's a good comment. I can, mon français c'est terrible. J'entends quasi tout, mais je ne peux parler parce que c'est impossible pour moi. So yeah, it's very right. It's for us also Swiss German speakers. It's easier to communicate with you romance in English rather than in French or in German.
Yeah,
Johannes. Sorry.
I would say it's more the case on the French side than on the German side. I mean, I lived 6 months in Zurich, and I was trying to learn German and trying to communicate with people in the street. And as soon as I would open my mouth, they would immediately respond to me in French, and especially the older generation. Whereas if you go to Geneva and you do the opposite, you would see that no one is able to.
Classy, actually. With Johannes, by the way, he can answer you in Spanish as well. I don't even know.
Yeah, Spanish is
good
as well.
You have Argentinian roots, no? Or
no, not roots.
Or
but
something.
I lived there also a few months. Yeah, 7 months. Yeah.
In Porteño, in Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires, yeah.
In Buenos Aires, very nice.
Okay, let me open that article that you mentioned, Johannes. Take us through it, because I'm pretty sure that you will be the one able to do it.
I was not aware there's so many ads on FinNews. This is horrible.
Yeah,
I actually have ad blockers.
Yeah, I have one also not on that browser. I will install on that browser as well.
That's good. So basically, Lucius just did a beautiful interview about where things are going in Switzerland, how infrastructure is being built, and it's this little comment on why the first centralized stablecoin in Switzerland, or Swiss franc stablecoin in Switzerland, is actually German. Which, yeah, it raises quite some eyebrows, but it's quite telling on like what the challenges are in Switzerland right now, and Lucius is just having a really good view on that. So I can, everyone, I really can recommend you to read that interview. It's a very, very good interview. Just a little side note here. But we're building and we're super amazed. Like how we work together, Arnaud, with Mt Pelerin. It's super nice. I think we started like back in last September, more or less, when we launched together.
Yeah, I think officially, more or less, yes.
So it's been half a year, more or less. So it's been quite a ride.
It's already beating expectation, I would say, in terms of.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so. And it's just this. Like one little anecdote I wanted to share is that how quick you are with integration. I think there was on the community, someone was coming. They were building on Base, was that, or on like some random chain, and you within like 3 days you were able to enable Frankencoin on that chain as well with Mt Pelerin. So and this is not a speed I am used to from centralized on and off ramps.
Yeah,
so
but
hats off.
We are an agile startup, so I mean, like when we put interest in something, when it's on top of the priority list, things get done. Yeah.
Good, that's nice. So it's like really, really cool, and I believe we have just this big alignment on so many levels, on like philosophically where we want to go on being decentralized. And getting shit done more than anything. Like it's a lot about, I believe, when I work with your team as well, Arnaud, and a big shout out to Jan. And sad he couldn't be here today, but it's just really a pleasure to work with you guys. Cool. It's a lot of fun.
Happy to hear. Yeah.
Indeed. By the way, that's actually a very good point that you're raising, Johannes, because this actually is like another aspect that connects, I think, Mt Pelerin and Frankencoin. This emphasis on being quick, being agile, responding to stuff, not having too much like bureaucracy or whatever. It just doesn't fit the ethos. It needs to be cut wherever it can be cut. And just from being on some of our Telegram groups and seeing how that can work on other angles, then definitely I agree that you write something on the Mt Pelerin group. Basically, Jan answers like after 2 minutes tops, whenever you've sent it, and is like already like on it and touching it. Yeah. Arnaud, I actually wanted to ask you about something related to what you said, because, being for Frankencoin, being a decentralized protocol, I think that was like kind of like the main way of dealing with the Swiss regulatory system, like with FINMA and the other names that I'm hearing that you guys are actually probably know what they actually are, and I'm just like learning about it and hearing about it. But it definitely seems like, it's a whole specific world of regulatory environment over there. And for Frankencoin, again, Frankencoin is a decentralized protocol, so it actually means that it's another custodian, and that's basically the answer for that aspect of things. As a not fully decentralized aspect, like as an on and off ramp, how do you handle this challenge?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Environment.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because originally, again, we were very much focusing on stablecoins, and we're looking at the XCHF, the centralized version. So but then, of course, FINMA somehow changed the rules. From a day to another, they published a PDF on their website saying that, all centralized stablecoins needs to be fully whitelisted. It's not like having blacklisting capabilities. It's like being whitelisted. That means that knowing each and every person who owns the stablecoin. So, of course, that kills completely the use case. So that's why it was absolutely necessary for the ZCHF to come up and exist. So that in that regard is very good. But as you named, of course, that puts all the regulatory questions on us, because we are the financial intermediary here that is regulated, that actually is audited on a yearly basis, that, all this and that. Yeah. So ultimately, we are the regulated entity. And of course, by distributing the ZCHF, we are taking that responsibility, that compliance, and that, the whole regulatory aspect of it. We need to make sure that, things works. That's something we know how to do, all the compliance and etc. But also that we distribute something that doesn't, that is not classified by FINMA as a security, that this and that. So there are always, like some, I wouldn't say gray zone, because right now in Switzerland, at least, we have the good aspect of Switzerland is that those aspects have been cleared. FINMA is quite clear on what is a utility token, what is a security token, and how you can do decentralized stuff and how you cannot do. Now, the problem is always with FINMA today is how predictable in the future that things is, because we've seen in the past, just like for the centralized stablecoin, that they can change rules just by adding a new PDF on the website, and that's something that scares a little bit the community in Switzerland, to be honest.
Sorry. Thanks for that reply. And yeah, I can only imagine how big of a challenge this is. You have anything to add there, Johannes?
I mean, it's a challenge for us. Is we're very much open for conversations, right? We want to engage, and you mentioned before that we're in contact as well. I know you're working with Lucius on that. Is that we want to build? We have an interest to build a better, more secure, more transparent financial system. So we're all there for that. We are all for being in the light, being in the good side, finding processes that work, and in the end also having clarity. In the end, I think that the most important part for industry is having clarity, knowing you can do this, and if you do this, you can do it efficiently, and you can get answers quickly, and you have clear guidelines on how you can do things, and this is what you cannot do because of reasons X, Y, Z, right? So this is really the I think the important part of regulations in the end, that all regulations have reasons. Regulations are created for a reason. They're not just made up, or they should not be, at least, made of things. They're there for a reason, and if they have those reasons, they're very important. And I think that is also for us as the association, being the steward of this decentralized protocol, is something we engage with to make sure, hey, look, this is like, how do we drive Switzerland forward? How do we keep Switzerland? Switzerland is the most innovative country in the world, still is. How do we? There's this ranking, I think, coming out every year, and Switzerland is always like top 1 or 2. And to keep this, because we're a small country, we don't have much natural resources. We have our brains, and we have people building, we have people creating things, and we want to create an environment where those people building things and creating things can do that, and are not bogged down by intransparent regulations and bureaucracy.
I definitely can resonate with that from various angles, actually, and I do think that you're very right. Like from the outside, it really seems like that the Swiss, they want to thrive, They want to create a society which allows.
We're a mountain people. Maybe the people from Geneva will not agree because I have a good friend of mine who's from Jura. I'm not sure if he's watching today. He once told me not too long ago, like, the Geneva is regal. It's like royal. So Geneva is a bit different. But you're not from Geneva yourself, are you? You're from Lausanne originally, you said?
Yeah, no,
From Lausanne?
in Lausanne, we say that Switzerland stops in Nyon, so Geneva is kind of excluded from Switzerland.
Exactly. But we're mountain people, so we want to thrive. We want to thrive in harsh conditions.
Yeah, but but that's actually like the point. Like, you can also look at it as like surviving. Like on the mountain, you also need to first of all survive. But in many levels, I think the Swiss have transcended like pure survival, and they really want to take it to the next levels, which I think is really something that I'm attracted to a lot. And I'm actually curious about a related point, especially after what we've mentioned here before. How do you think that like products like Mt Pelerin and Frankencoin and this new digital finance that is being built, how does that actually serve the society, whether it's the Swiss society, whether it's the global society? Try to touch on this point about like how do these products improve the lives of people?
I mean, that's the entire point of crypto in the first place. And if you basically trace it back to Bitcoin, because this all started with Bitcoin, we created a tool that was actually, how do you say that in English? A kind of contestation tool. It's Bitcoin, when we created it, it was a tool to basically make a peaceful revolution. The whole idea behind it is that before that, revolutions used to be extremely violent. You need to chop off heads and take off the power and this and that. And here Bitcoins came and offered us an exit route, some kind of parallel solution where you could live and have your entire financial life under your own control and your own terms. So it was basically bringing you back liberty. And this tool was so marvelous that, of course, we created more use case around it. So, of course, stablecoin came because it was easier for people to understand and to manage, and for daily avoid the daily volatility of such a powerful tool like Bitcoin. But the whole basis of all this crypto industry, I would say at the origin, now sometimes we see it's more like a giant casino, and sometimes it's a bit deceiving, but the whole philosophical idea underlying this industry is that it's really like a peaceful revolution to create a new finance in our own terms, something we own, something we don't have to ask permission, and that's exactly what we are creating. That's what I believe, the whole thing with Frankencoin and Mt Pelerin is fully aligned.
Nothing to add from my side here. I think you said it beautifully here.
I agree. I agree. What's next for Mt Pelerin, Arnaud? What can you share maybe that is being worked on, and maybe you can already like give some clues or hints?
Yeah, no, I mean, for now, the main focus is to add more payment rails. Yeah, so today up until now, of course, we were champions in Swiss franc and euro, but now we need to basically broaden the scope, go and have more local payment rails. Of course, at the end of the year, we want to come up also with, now we offer IBANs, so why not offer the card that comes along with it? Yeah. So that you can, close the loop and be like I would call it the full self-custodial Revolut, so you could just, get rid of, any form of centralized bank. But now,
did you just say that the Swiss franc crypto card is coming?
Yes.
Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Did you hear that, DAdvisoor?
I was just about to tell myself, okay, should I now ask the next question about the credit card, or is it not okay, or whatever? But
this is not coming before the end of the year. We have to overcome several challenges. So, I mean, of course, we already have the provider. We have like a lot of the things developed already. Now, of course, there are like the main challenge is because we are a self-custodial company, and we do not want to become a custodial company at no point in time. We don't want to do a kind of top-up card, something like sell you Bitcoins, top up your card, and then you can spend. It's not what we want to do. What we want to do is a fully self-custodial card, something where, like at least on the Ethereum side of it, you could, give an allowance to the card so that you could spend directly from your wallet. Whether it's ZCHF for a CHF card, because we're going to come up with 3 currencies, CHF, Euro, and dollar. So the whole idea behind it is to find a way to overcome the problem of double spend, because on chain you have a time to settle things that is quite long, even on the fastest chain. Whereas on the card network, you have to settle things and give the authorization on the card in less than 250 milliseconds. So it's a quarter second. So that means that, that kind of discrepancy here can, create some, opportunity for, clients to try to game us, etc. So we need to find a way to overcome that kind of thing. We know that things already exist, like the Gnosis card initiative, which is really great. There are other initiatives that we can try to copy, and that's exactly what we are analyzing right now, on how we can make something safe for us and safe for clients.
That is very nice. So this is like a highlight, I think, of my evening, because this is probably the #1 requested feature for Frankencoin. It's because right now, we're having Gnosis Pay. Gnosis Pay is amazing, and shout out to the Gnosis Pay people. I had an amazing call this afternoon with Andre. Yeah. Beautiful people, but they cannot do Swiss franc cards. They're stuck because of regulation, right? Because of the whole licensing issues you have in Switzerland, they cannot issue Swiss franc cards. So
that's why you need all that ZCHF EURE pool and that stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly why we need that, because you need basically BIN number in Switzerland that you're, I think, allowed to. I'm not a card specialist in depth.
There are only 4 principal members of Visa or MasterCard in Switzerland, so it's a very close industry in Switzerland. So it's hard to get in, to be honest, and requires large amount of funds to get into the front line to be able to do so. So that's a very specific things for the niche market of Switzerland, which is, as always, banking industry, they tend to, get the kind of things together, and they only speak, between themselves. And again, there are only a few numbers of them being able to do so. So in order to get the privilege to get some of their service, so that they sold to you some of their service, you need to be persuasive and to pay big money. Yeah. But that's okay. That's not really the point. I mean, for me, the whole point is more like I see, the card rails to become obsolete at some point. I still don't understand why we pay such a rent to those guys.
Yeah.
And if you look today with all the the SEPA instant payment rails, I still don't understand why Europe didn't come up with a card linked to SEPA instant payment rails. So that would actually make a card completely independent from the Americans, from the Visa, MasterCard, a card that would actually settle account to account, peer to peer in the form of centralized euros. Yes, but still, without the American external actors. And same for Switzerland. Like we already have the instant wire in development in Switzerland, so that will come soon. So that those payment rails need to change. So I still don't understand why we have to pay, and it's so complex. If you look at cards, cards is not only. Most people believe that it's only about Visa, MasterCard, but it's not. Visa, MasterCard is only a brand. It's only a network, and it's not even the network. It's only a kind of a specification network, and then on top of it, you have plenty of actors. So you have of course, some issuers, but you have the processor, you have the card bureau, you have the whole set of suppliers in the chain that all take a little cents here, little cents there. Every time someone swipes the card, the API relayer takes a few cents here, a few cents there, and it's all like a kind of I would say antique industry based on, you know, seeking rent and extracting rent out of, you know, everything that goes through, you know, even like simple API messages relaying someone is extracting rent again. And so it's yeah, I would say this industry should at some point disappear. So I understand why people want it right now, because that's the only physical object that represent these digital things. But still, you know, it's for me, it's hard to get. And yet today, I mean, if you want to cash out that CHF to your Revolut card, you can do it almost instantly in Mt Pelerin. So you already have that option.
Yeah. To be honest, I agree and disagree here. I agree with that it's rent seeking, that it's an antique industry which should go away. I disagree that it will go away soon, because the problem is the network effect is so strong.
I didn't say it will. I said it should.
Yeah. Okay. There. Yeah. This we can agree on. This we can very much agree on. But it's you know, there's open crypto pay, right? We are, you can use Frankencoin to pay in Spar supermarkets. Mm-hmm. It's not used very often.
There was one person today actually who did it with the Bridge wallet, and he filmed it on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really? Nice. Yeah. We should basically post that on. Yeah. But the point being is that the convenience is so big. You know, I can just use my phone, and when it works, it's somehow blocked. I think I need to unblock it first. That was you know, good effect. Okay, but basically, like, you know, I just Apple Pay, bam, I pay. So it's very hard to improve this UX. And while the UX of crypto payments is not as good, and this is once again, no, Apple is one of those rent-seeking companies. So Apple has no incentive to replace Apple Pay with a decentralized version, because they make money out of it.
Yeah, but at some point, you know, people will understand that the trade-off of all that, you know, simplicity is your privacy. And, you know, that's already something with card networks, the original card networks in the back. That was already an issue. But it was somehow protected with strong customer laws, at least it's in Switzerland and in Europe. So most of the banking data were not that much used, and were in fact not used at all. And they were sitting on the gold mine of data. And most banks were, you know, heavily underusing those data. Now things are changing, and especially with big tech like Apple, Google, you know, getting involved. And you know, it's always the same, you know, at the beginning it seems super convenient, and at some point you understand the trade-off, but you will see. I mean, at least that's from my super extreme, I would say, libertarian point of view. That's...
Mm-hmm.
I think the point of distribution is the key. Like there's what we actually want to get to, but whoever controls like the actual distribution, whoever is already on there on the phone, whether it's Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, Google Pay, they're already holding it, you know? It's very difficult to disconnect it.
Actually, we have a question which just fits perfectly in what you just said. I'm pulling it up here. It's in French. Let me read it in French. Pour le développement du CCHF, pensez-vous qu'une listing une plateforme comme Kraken pourrait? So basically what he's asking, Jason, is, you know, if it would help the CCHF to have a listing on a serious platform like Kraken. I mean, we're listed on serious platforms, man. Look at Mt Pelerin. Mt Pelerin is like the most serious platform we find in Switzerland. It's working very, very nicely. It's like we're super happy with that. So in Switzerland, the technology and like the use case is here. However, what Idan just said, that distribution is key and more is better, right? So the answer to that is yes. Obviously, any platform, and this is maybe some platforms are listening here as well. Any platform which is integrating CCHF is adding value, because in the end, you know, this what we're doing here is we're building the Lego of money. It's an open system, and we want it to be accessible. It's a public good in the end. The CCHF is a public good in the sense of that it should be accessible to anyone anywhere, and it is, as Arnaud very nicely put, right. It's very much, if you talk about centralized players, it's a lot about what can you do, like which jurisdictions can you serve. And actually, maybe also shout out here again to you guys with Mt Pelerin. I think you're doing a tremendous job. You're probably one of the platforms which are accessible in most markets of all of them.
And at some point, maybe we should also discuss with one of our partners who distribute in the SBB, CFF, and also at the Post, so somehow at some point, maybe even if it's more expensive, some people, for privacy reasons might be also interested to be able to buy in cash in the Post Office or the SBB, automat. So today they offer only Bitcoin and Ether. But somehow we're discussing for new stuff to add. So maybe at some point they also might be interested to add the THF, because you have more and more use cases, and there is also the SPAR right now, which is also great as an initiative. So that might help potentially.
There's just another one of them actually being commented here. Twint. It's the big elephant in the room. Twint.
What's that?
They are massively anti-crypto yet still.
Let me put my favorite thing here.
Yeah.
What is the Twint? Like, give us some.
It's like 2 weeks TM. It's like the. But no, the problem with Twint is that they are still not open to crypto. So they refuse any form of crypto broker. They refuse any form of crypto companies, any form of NFT companies, any form of, So you can add Twint on any form of website, except if you sell anything related to blockchain crypto, or if the name of your company is called, whatever, blockchain development. Even if you do not do anything financial, you just do like pure dev company, but your company is called blockchain something, then Twint says no.
So for you, Twint, for everyone who's not Swiss, Twint is basically the Selle or the Cash App of Switzerland. It's got a pretty interesting story. It's like an app where you can send money between people, P2P. And it's actually been built by a consortium of banks in Switzerland. So it's like owned by the banks.
Peer to bank to peer. The classic peer to bank to bank to bank to bank to peer.
Correct.
The best system that the intermediaries
and for me, Twint is a bit of an interesting case, because Twint is a pure Swiss solution. I still find it stupid. Like, why would he build such a thing? It's a closed Swiss solution, only works with a Swiss phone number, only within Switzerland. It cost, I don't know how many 100 millions of Swiss francs to build. I think it was in the media a couple of years ago, how they just. It was
how much it costs to merchants, because it costs more than 1% for the merchants to actually, for all the checkouts that they do, it's like more than 1% that, they have to pay to Twint. So I think, the whole, and of course it's immediate and it's nice, Twint, because it feels immediate, and it is actually, the settlement is almost immediate, but on the screen, at least it appears immediate. For the commerce, it's also nice and etc. But at some point, when you have instant SEPA, instant future payments in Switzerland as well, those rails should disappear. Why should we pay, 1%, 1.2% rent to those guys just to do this transfer of money? So that, is still something. And the worst part about Twint for me is on the other side, is on the consumer side, because that's where most people do not most people, 99.999% of people do not read the terms and conditions when they accept Twint. And if you read it carefully, I strongly advise anyone who uses Twint not to link it with their main account, but to create a specific account just to use Twint. Because now, before you were protected by consumer law, in case of hacking, in case of, there are like different, scenarios in which you could lose money from your bank account, in which you are protected by your old contract with the bank. As soon as you enable Twint, you basically accept new legal terms and conditions that actually brings you from the old terms and conditions that you maybe signed 20 years ago, which actually protects you quite well from the so-called, virtual risk, etc. And now with the new terms, you get actually basically not protected at all. And it's all pushed on you and on your responsibility to, make sure that you do not get hacked, that you not get shared in form of password, that blah 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 blah. And basically the bank has no option to pay you back other than its own goodwill if you get hacked. Yeah. So that's if you sign on Twint. If you remain on your old banking contract, then you still have those clauses in your old contract that says that basically if there is online hacking or things like that, you're much more protected with your old contract. So that's something to consider with Twint. So that's why I always say to people who wants to use Twint, open a new account just for Twint. Go to Post Finance. You open it, it's free or almost free. You open a bank account in Post Finance and you link your Twint only to that. You wire 1,000 a month on it so you can use it. But at least you know that if something goes bad, only the 1,000 left there will be gone.
Wow. That's insane.
Guys, we're already running over time here, actually. But it's been a very, very interesting conversation with all of you. Maybe some final words. I mean, I think the whole card point you made before, Arnaud, would have been a perfect end, but obviously we have so much interesting things to talk about. So I'm super excited, of you guys, what you guys are building. I once again want to say, big thank you for kind of being this an awesome player in this space and enabling really this infrastructure in the back end to integrate fiat and the crypto world and keep doing that job. And I am here to conquer everything. We're just we're in for Frankencoin, we're in scaling mode right now. There is just so many things happening at the moment. I mean, some things I can talk about already, like the ETP, right? That is live with Plus. So you can now get your Frankencoin with yield on your bank account. You have the custody solutions. You have the IBAN, right? It's just nicely picking up. Actually, while we were talking, for the ones of you who are subscribed to, and I'm actually going to post this very quickly here. Because you should. This is a security feature. The bot, the Frankencoin bot, the Frankencoin API bot, which is basically a Telegram bot, that shows you. And let me add the ticker very very briefly. So this is the Frankencoin API bot. I want to show it now. This ticker or this bot here you see down below sends you updates on when people are borrowing, when they're paying FPS. But while we were talking, there was my phone was doing bing 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 because people
there was some minting activity going on.
Exactly. So because people are minting and just it's so nice to see how the system is growing. And
we need to do live stream all the time, man.
Exactly. You guys from Mt Pelerin are a big part of that, right? And I want to thank you for that. And I'm really looking forward to a very fruitful further cooperation.
Indeed, I really think it was a lot of fun, and it was. I knew it would be nice, but it was even nicer than I thought. Arnaud, thank you so much for coming and your time. Really enjoyed your perspectives on things, and I really, it only strengthened my understanding and deepened it of how connected like Frankencoin and Mt Pelerin is, and how much of a shared value system the projects have. So really looking forward to see how this continues. And just before I send you guys off, I know that you two are heading to Cannes next week already for next weekend.
Correct, and we will be not with Mt Pelerin unless you want to join as co-hosts. Basically, if you're allowed to join us, I think it's a bit tricky. But we will be hosting something very special.
FINMA doesn't even allow hosting an event.
Well, the Frank organization can, but I think for you guys, you would have to have a license in France, right? To do like a public event in France.
We don't. We just go like as tourists there. So we're not allowed to promote or to sponsor.
Exactly. So you're not. Yeah, that's why.
Like that. We only can speak if we are invited to speak. We cannot pay to speak, obviously. So every time we speak, you know that it's because we have something to say that is interesting, because we're just invited for free. So we cannot pay, we cannot do it. So Switzerland is an island in the middle of Europe, and because of the new MiCA laws, of course, it's basically, create some Chinese walls, and we are. Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, for us, we don't see that as a big drama. We believe that the best way to grow is from happy customers referring another happy customer, referring another happy customer.
So basically, we are going to host together with Chain Security, and I'm going to put a QR code here as well for you guys. With a little image. No, I can't put an image here. So you can scan it, and I'd be very happy to see many of you next week in Cannes, and having a chat about.
This is, by the way, going to be in the week after next week, right? Because
yes, correct.
It's just the beginning of the Cannes situation with Stable Summit that you're also going to be on, Johannes.
Yes,
both you and Lucius, if I remember correctly, actually, on Stable Summit as well.
Sorry, 1 second. It's like show tag. There you go. I'm trying to find out how these things work. It doesn't.
To add the QR code, you have that?
Yes, there it is.
Okay. On the top left corner,
exactly.
Guys, find it now.
So join us for some nice cheese and nice wine with Chain Security in Cannes, and looking forward to seeing you, and looking forward to seeing you as well, Arnaud, by the way, in France, in south of France.
Let me tell you guys, Johannes really knows how to make incredible events. So definitely try to get in. I urge you to it. It was fascinating and remarkable to see in our South America tour and in Switzerland, actually. So guys, unless you have anything to add, again, thank you so much for your time. Have a great weekend. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Arnaud, where can people find you and Mt Pelerin? Where can they follow you?
They should join our Telegram group, of course, and Twitter, x.com, Mt Pelerin.
What's your Telegram group? Let's add it down here quickly, in so everyone can see it.
Oof.
I think I'm not even.
And we will edit.
On the computer, I don't have Telegram. I'm not a Telegram user, so.
Yeah, right. You told me that you.
So it's on my computer, but if I click on it, it tells me to synchronize it and do.
All good. So
I will add it to the posts when I do it.
Very nice. So
like that.
Thank you very much.
So, again, everyone, thank you so much. Join the Frankencoin community. Get on our Telegram, YouTube, and X at Frankencoin ZCHF. Thank you so much for your time, Arnaud and Johannes. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.